Okay, so I just did this video. I'm having to redo it over again, but y'all don't know nothing about that. So that's okay. Hi, my name is Katie Marie. Let's start this meeting with the third step prayer. God, I offer myself to thee, to build with me and to do with me as thou wilt. Relieve me of the bondage of self, that I may better do thy will. Take away my difficulties, that victory over them may bear witness to those I would help of thy power, thy love, and thy way of life. May I do thy will always. So, this is the Time Lifestyle Management System, Step 12. Okay, but it's taken from the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions book of Alcoholics Anonymous. So if you want your literature, that's one of the books that we use for our research in order to make these videos happen. And I'd like to give a special thanks to the Metropolitan Household Rehabilitation Project because that is our research team. And their research is beyond Google. We don't use Google for our research um, information that we give to you. We actually do real live research in the field. We're actually out there talking to individuals and learning from uh, different sources, but we go to meet people and talk to them. That's how we're able to get this research. And the research that we use to make these videos for the 12 steps, of course, we've already told you, we get it from straight from Alcoholics Anonymous. And I've been a member for 20 years now. So the information I'm giving you is because I've lived 20 years in the with being an Alcoholics Anonymous member. So I'm giving you my knowledge. So that's real firsthand knowledge. Okay. Step 10 is continue to take personal inventory and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. Okay, so this step is our insurance that we shall not lose another valuable relationship which we rely on so heavily for our help. Remember, we talked about our help in steps 2 and 3. So in steps 8 and 9, we took back some of that control in how we manage our relationships. We knowingly admitted the part we played because we learned so much about ourselves in steps 4, 5, 6, and 7. Our relationships are our help. The same help we talked about needing in steps 2 and 3. So, just what does the literature mean by continuing to take personal inventory? Okay. Okay. Well, you'll want to look over your entire day and the contents of that particular day. Don't stress about it. If you don't do this, like if you didn't do this last night, take personal inventory, do it tonight. Just couple last night's and tonight's together and do your personal inventory. Okay? So remember, the 12 steps are designed for living. We're not perfect. Just because you didn't do an inventory last night does not mean you've messed up. You got to start all over. Okay? So you just continue on with the rest of your life. Okay? Just like you are. Okay? So living is something that happens anyway. The events that take place during the day can be and will be far outside of our expectations. So they'll either exceed our expectations or they won't meet our expectations. We're juggling those every day. So it is not your fault if you get a little restless, irritable, and discontent. But what are you going to do about it? Right? Most of us cannot predict what will happen or come our way in the course of a day. Okay? So it's simple. When something happens, do something about it. This will help us make peace with ourselves. It's also a chance to improve our motives. Hmm. There are different types of inventories. One inventory is the spot check inventory. This is a good way to check yourself at different times of the day. How do we know when we need to take this inventory, this spot check inventory? In step 7, we talked a little bit about these uncomfortable feelings, right? Hold on, guys. Let me just turn that off. Okay. Let me just, hold on, guys. I'm so sorry. Let me just, like, somehow, if I can get it, um, kind of turn it down a little bit so we won't be interrupted. Okay. So in step 7, we talked about uncomfortable feelings. Okay. So when we have a moment during any day where we begin to feel uncomfortable, that is the moment that we need to reflect. Okay. What we don't want to do is allow the uncomfortable moment to turn into a regrettable moment. Okay. So there's another type of inventory that you would want to take each day, and that is the one that's taken at the end of the day. Here we take a look at our entire day. It is our hope that we've already smashed those things brewing in the distance from the spot check. Okay, pinpointing where we became disgusted, irritated, embarrassed, or frustrated will help us determine the sticking point. But likewise, we must learn how to and then get into the habit of giving ourselves credit for a day well lived. If we feel that we owe an apology, we commence to repeat steps 8 and 9. And yes, that means we must make our list, even if your list only consists of one person, place, or institution. So if your sister and you had a spat that day, at the end of the day, you could just make your little short list. My sister, blah 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 blah. You'll want to go back to some previous videos to review how we did that, and I did show you actual paperwork, so you can look through those videos when you get to where I have the the paperwork posted. You could just kind of jot down and just use it as a guide and jot down that person and all the little columns that's in it. Okay. Um. So the last type of inventory happens in the presence of your sponsor or a lawyer or a clergyman like your priest. This is just a repeat. All it is when you're in front of your sponsor is just a repeat of steps 4, 5, and 6. So what you make that list again, go back to the video 4 and make the list. Video 5, video 6, make those lists. And it's actually which is quite nice to have the backing of another individual by your side while you do this. You don't have to, but it helps to kind of go over it. And like I said, what you'll want to do is a step 4, and then with step 5, you do with a sponsor or somebody else, a good friend, a trustworthy friend. And then in step 6, that's when you go to try and remove those motives, those unwanted motives, which are like your character defects. You know what they are. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. So, like I said, just as we discussed in previous video meetings, you'll want to make the same list we've made. It may also be helpful, like I said, to look back on your video subscriptions. If you got a subscription to my videos, you can go back and quickly go back and look at those particular videos, like 7, 8, and 9, 4, 5, and 6. Those are your go-to steps for step 10. Okay, so it's a process. Everything is a process. And you might not have to do 7, 8, 9 if you don't have any amends that you gotta make. You know what I mean? And if you have amends with yourself, don't forget to put yourself on your amends list too. Okay? If you nobody else is around, you feel irritated and uncomfortable with yourself, frustrated with yourself. You need to get rid of that too at the end of the day. Okay? That's why I like these steps, because they explain themselves. It helps to know the explanation, which is, what I've done with these video meetings. Okay, that's why I do them. So next week we'll talk about step 11. The week after that, we'll be doing step 12. And they're exciting steps. I like these last 2 steps. Okay, these steps you can begin to practice right away. So if you have your literature, look in them and start looking through, seeing what these steps are all about, because you could actually start, partaking in some meditation and helping another individual. Okay, careful to be mindful of selfishness. So if you are going to go and read your literature ahead of time before the video posts, then be careful about your motives. You don't want to be selfish in how you help somebody else. And try not to be selfish when making a prayer. Although it's okay to be selfish while you're meditating, but don't come out of your meditation still that selfish person. Try and that's your time to tell God how you're feeling, and He'll tell you, give you some feedback, and you'll be like, "Oh, I should have known." Okay, so when you leave your meditation, then you should be a kind of an uplifted or changed person. After step 12, I'm gonna let you all know this now. There will be a brief intermission because school begins in a couple weeks for my child, and I'm also hosting a huge birthday barbecue bash in 2 weeks. So I think 3 weeks school starts, 2 weeks is the barbecue bash. Um, so we'll probably most likely be back the beginning of September, like after Labor Day, like right after Labor Day, and um that will begin our next series. I'm gonna let you guys know this right now. This jacket right here is very hot. Okay, I got all this lighting going on. It's hot. So I will not be using this jacket. Maybe I'll get me a little vest or something. So you guys will still see that I have my little sports jacket on. That's like my little, go-to look. Okay? So, oh yeah, and I did get my hair redone. I'm so glad too, because I want to look good for a party. You know what I mean? Okay, so I'm excited, as you can tell. But I love y'all and see you next week. Don't forget to subscribe today. That will help you with your 12-step work. Okay? And also visit Time Lifestyle Management Systems Incorporated.org. That's TLMSINC.org. And you can donate, which I'm having a donation campaign for August the 12th, which is my birthday. So yes, I'm having my birthday barbecue bash a little earlier because of school. So on the 12th, everybody's gonna get together and donate, right? Um, at tlmsinc.org. And I just want to say thank you, everybody, and see you next week.